it's this epic disaster.
Hi.
Kind of laid back this week.
Sound very nonchalant about
Just hanging out, just here, just doing what we do.
Why are you talking like that?
I don't know. I just decided I'm going to talk like this.
Please don't.
It's like I don't have a lower lip. No, I'm not going to talk like that.
Thank you. That's really annoying.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to This Epic Disaster, the podcast that answers the question. Well, we don't even ask questions. So I don't know.
Yeah, we don't ask or answer any
I
questions.
feel like I should start over. I'm just out of sync. I don't know.
All right, start over.
No, I still got a hacking cough. And it's not coronavirus. It's not.
I have a cough as well, and I've had my cough longer than you.
It's bronchitis.
Yeah.
The last thing that I had turned into bronchitis. It's going away. It's certainly much better, but you know what it needs to kind of soothe the dry cough?
A beer.
Wetness. Wetness is what it needs. And
That's
beer.
what she said.
Beer is the perfect wetness.
So today we
Can
are
I
doing
get a wetness? Okay.
not a wetness. We are doing an Orpheus beer. And Orpheus. Now, I had not heard of this one before. It may be new. It may not. I don't know. It's called Choosers of the Slain, as in they have been slayed.
That might be the coolest beer name we've ever had on the show.
Choosers of the Slain. It is a Pilsner. And I love what they have written here. I'm going to go ahead and read it verbatim. So the basic tagline is "Crush or be crushed." And
I'm crushing your crush.
I'm crushing your crush. So what they have written here is you're reading the description of a traditional German-style Pilsner, hoping it will give you deep insight into this carefully crafted lager beer, forgetting that there's only crush or be crushed, and you're already wasting time. The choice isn't yours forever, though. In the end, all are at the mercy of the choosers of the slain. Sounds like a heavy metal song.
It's awesome, though. That's a great name. Choosers of the Slain.
I agree.
It could be a heavy metal band.
So you're already into your beer. I'm just pouring mine. So for those of you who are new, if we have anybody new, this is our live beer review. We do it every week. We have a beer that we've never had before, and we drink it while we chat, and then we tell you what we think of it at the end.
And we haven't had a Pilsner in a while. We've done sours, and we've had some stouts, and we've had some IPAs. It's been quite a while since we've had a Pilsner, so I'm kind of glad on this one.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's kind of yellow.
Kind of yellow. That's what I would say, kind of yellow.
I'm very descriptive.
Well, it is sort of honey color. Cough drop, which I'm very familiar with right now.
A honey cough drop color? That's the color of the beer.
All right, so we will, now I'm a little raspy. So we will hang out and drink this beer, and we'll tell you what we think about it a little bit.
Cool.
Speaking of crushing your head...
Crush your head.
Speaking of crushing your beer, crushing your head, it was just announced today that my favorite group of all times, one of my favorite things of all times, the Kids in the Hall, Canadian sketch comedy group of the 80s, is coming back.
I know.
Amazon is bringing them back. They're going to do brand new episodes. I think they're going to do like a little season.
A season of episodes, and then I guess we'll see where it goes.
And, of course, they had some characters. They had the head crusher. Crushing Your Head was probably one of their more famous ones.
And the
Everyone
chicken
did that for a while. The Chicken Lady.
Chicken Lady.
Cabbage Head.
Yes.
Several.
Now, do you... Okay.
But let me just say, I was saying that because I hope they don't bring any of those back.
You want them to come up with new stuff.
I want them to come up with totally new stuff. I think everybody's wanting them to bring their characters back.
Right.
But I don't want to see those characters old. Those guys now are my age or older. So they're late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
No one wants to see them like that. Now, and their big gimmick was dressing like girls, and they just look like women. They look like young women. And now they're all old. And, I mean, unless they're going to do old women, I just don't want them to try dressing like young women, and it's all sad.
Well, here's the problem is that, I mean, what they did back then, those characters and dressing like women and what have you, that was beautiful then. And it needs to be left in the past. It's like people doing all these reboot movies of really good movies. It's like, why? Why would you take an Oscar-nominated movie or even an Oscar-winning movie, 20 years later, remake it?
Yeah.
With different people. It's good enough for an Oscar. Why do you have to remake it?
Well, that's kind of what I think. I feel like that these guys are so creative come up with some new things,
Yes.
new characters that are now older or whatever, and that don't have to reach back and play upon the glory of old.
Yeah, because now it looks like you're just grasping, like you don't, like you can't come up with anything new.
But it's kind of, that's what musicians have to put up with. I mean, people go see Paul Simon now, and he's written some great stuff, but they always want to hear the old things.
Yeah. All bands, that's
Right.
the case, all of them.
So I feel like it's the same way. Everybody's going to want their characters, but I just hope they don't do it. I hope they're like, no, these are old. Because one of the characters was a little kid who asked all these, kind of strange questions. And I don't want to see a 60-year-old guy playing
A child.
a kid.
No, I
It's
don't either.
because then it starts looking sad. So I saw him live several years ago, and they did some of their characters, which was fun seeing on stage. But it did feel a little sad because they were they were in 50s then.
Right.
When I saw them.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, see, I just looked this up because you were talking about Kids in the Hall, and I always associated this particular character with Kids in the Hall.
Okay.
And I am wrong.
Okay.
Mr. Canoehead.
Um.
Do you remember Mr. Canoehead?
See, I feel like when I've talked about Kids in the Hall before, you have said that, and I'm like, I haven't seen that character. I don't know that character.
Turns out it's because it's not Kids in the Hall.
Who is it?
It is a Mr. Canoehead is a superhero who was a recurring character in the Canadian sketch radio series Frantic Times and the TV series Four on the Floor.
Okay. Well, see, when you would say that, what I was always thinking, there's a sketch that Kids in the Hall did where they were like Canadian trappers.
Yeah.
And they would go into office, like the office, and they were trying to catch try to get the pelts of businessmen.
Right.
And so they would walk in carrying a canoe on their head, like they were like going to go.
So maybe I did confuse the two.
It could be, and that's what I would.
That.
That's
because
what I
that's
thought.
what Mr. Canoehead does. He
Yeah.
carries his canoe on his head, clearly by the name, and that's how you carry your canoe when you're doing a portage trip.
Yeah.
And portaging is basically where you go from one lake to another lake to another lake. You have to carry your canoe between lakes.
And I'll bet that you just got those confused.
I bet I did.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's cleared.
Let's knock the confusion out of you by playing a little game of Would You Rather.
Sometimes that confuses
Would
me even
you
more.
rather play the game? Hi, everybody. How are you out there? Thanks for coming hang out with us again. I think a few people still do it, and we appreciate you.
I could always say, do you want to play a game?
This is one of the things we do every time. If you're new to the show, you'll get used to this. It's fun. You play along with us.
So it's a would you rather game, and there's some stones that you pick one.
Color stones.
And whatever it is.
A little bit like Trivial Pursuit.
Sort of. There's different categories. So I'm going to drop a stone.
And then whatever color you drop, which will be yellow today. I said I was going to stop guessing, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Then, because I've had 2 weeks in a row right on it.
Which is why you're going to stop now.
I know. It's purple. All right. Purple is food and ingestion. Would you rather eat a steak that's been left on a busy freeway for an hour?
Okay.
And then in parentheses it says, it's probably very tender. Yeah. Or drink a glass of wine that has been slowly sifted through the hairpiece of a sweaty fat man with dandruff. Why is fat man in there? Just a sweaty man with dandruff is enough.
Now he's got to be fat,
What
too?
is it going to taste different if he's fat or if he's skinny?
I don't know, because his head isn't going to be fat or skinny.
No, you can't taste the fat. What difference does it make if he's fat? If he's sweaty and he has dandruff, his hairpiece is going to be gross.
Right.
But fat's not going to feed
Affect
it unless
at all.
his hairpiece is like really, really big. So I don't know what fat it has to do with it. I think that's just fat shaming. But anyway, steak or glass of wine?
I will go with the, which one's going to make me sick? The steak would probably make me ill, like physically ill.
Really?
Well, I don't know.
Now, here's my question.
I mean, I believe in the 5-second rule, which I have on occasion stretched out to like 20 seconds.
Well, it doesn't specify here, but is the steak raw and then you cook it later?
Oh, it doesn't say
Or is it a cooked steak and then you just pick it up and eat it? It doesn't say either way. So I don't know.
I mean, I could always wipe it off or rinse it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with steak.
I would too, even though I don't eat steak.
Yeah.
But I would do.
It
I also
could
don't.
be a veggie steak.
I also don't drink Sweaty Fat Man wine.
Why you got to go with the fat shaming?
That should be a wine label.
Sweaty Fat Man?
Sweaty Fat Man. There's your wine label right there. I love Sweaty Fat Man Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Sweaty Fat Man. All right. All you sweaty fat men out there.
Now you're fat shaming.
No,
Stop
I'm a sweaty fat man. What are you talking about?
But you don't wear a toupee. You have a beautiful head of hair.
All right, man. I'm just feeling green burning in my hand.
You said you weren't going to do that
No, I did,
anymore.
but the color green is just burning in my hand. All right, here we go.
It's red.
It's still burning in my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So red is pain, fear, and discomfort.
Like the burning in my hand.
Right. So would you rather run a marathon with sand in the seat of your shorts?
You got me at running a marathon. I'll take the seat of sand, but I ain't running a marathon.
Or run a marathon with men's dress shoes on. So you're either going to have sandy raw butt or you're going to have blisters
How
on
far
your
is the
feet.
marathon?
A marathon?
Yeah.
A marathon is 26 kilometers?
See, I'm not running a marathon, period. With nothing. I don't care if it's on a fluffy cloud with a naked Shania Twain on my face. I'm not running a marathon. Yes.
You wouldn't be able to run with Shania Twain on your face.
A sweaty, fat Shania Twain on my face. I wouldn't do it. So you got me there.
Okay.
Now, if I can suspend disbelief and say I'm going to run a marathon, let's say I'm in shape, because I couldn't run down the stairs right now.
I know.
So if I was in shape for a marathon, I would pick the shoes. I think I could do that.
But then your feet would...
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
That kind of depends on your socks in a way. Now, if you don't have the right shoes, you're going to get shin splints. Unless you exercise, kind of do a little stretching.
Get shin splints, yeah.
But I've got some men's shoes that have kind of soft soles, and I think I can run a marathon.
Okay.
I don't think I'd have to worry about that. Again, it depends on how far, and
I think I'd rather have blisters on my feet than have my ass rubbed raw by sand.
That hurts.
Yeah.
No one wants to do that.
That's why you don't have sex on the beach.
Why? Who doesn't?
Because anybody.
Well, I just don't go to the beach. So.
Right. I've done it before, but they're not lying when they say that sand gets everywhere.
Well, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Even if you're on a blanket, it gets
if you're at the beach and you want to have sex, get in the water.
Right?
I mean, that's the perfect place to have sex. The fish are going to be like, what are you doing in our house? Get out. Oh, no. I got to swim there. Dang it. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know who thinks sex on the beach is a romantic thing.
No.
No,
It's not.
No, I wouldn't do it. All right. I've never had sex. I've never been naked on the beach. Have you?
Yes. I've had sex on the beach.
That doesn't surprise me, either of them.
Cuddling on the beach is fun.
Cuddling?
Yeah.
I'm going to go on a limb and say nothing on the beach is fun.
That's you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll put a little bit of an exception to that, is I did walk along the beach in Destin, Florida, and that was kind of fun.
I had a very romantic evening that ended poorly.
Don't tell the details.
Romantic evening, sitting on the beach at night with a bottle of champagne and a big old blankie, and we cuddled, and it was great fun. And then we ruined it by having sex. Stop.
Sorry, I'm just doing sound effects. I imagine that's what it sounds like when you have sex. I don't know.
You wouldn't know.
All right.
You never listen to me.
I have several things I want to talk about.
Well,
I'm not sure what order to talk about them should be. Last week, I went to Alabama. Selma, Alabama. You know where that is?
I do.
And it was the 55th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama.
Yeah.
Civil rights event.
Yeah.
And so what they did, they marked it by everybody getting together and walking across the bridge. I'm not sure I've seen that many people in one place. It was packed.
Was it really?
I mean, incredibly packed.
Yeah.
And crossing the bridge, it from side to side of the bridge, people, and going far, far back.
Right.
It was incredible. I didn't expect that. I mean, I knew there'd be a lot of people. I just didn't know that many.
Did you talk to anybody?
A little bit, yeah, not a whole lot. I like watching.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing a civil rights thing, this may be dumb, but when I'm doing a civil rights thing, I always feel like I'm a guest.
Okay.
Because my ancestors didn't get the shit beat out of them.
That's true.
55 years ago.
That's true.
If anything, they were the ones doing the shit beating.
Yeah.
They didn't, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people put their life. Some people spent their life, but there were people who were there who had got beat up. I mean, that came back to tell the story. And we've come a long way in a lot of ways. And so it was just interesting to see the people who had a lot of pride in that and who really used it as an event to kind of recognize how far along we've come. So I feel like I was a guest. I mean, I was certainly a guest in the city.
Right.
But I feel like I wasn't a guest in the event. But I have done some, I'm a little white guy, a big white guy from East Tennessee, and moving to Atlanta, really, I kind of got incorporated just from living here into a pretty large African American community, which I didn't grow up in. And so there's a lot to get to know. There's a lot to understand. There's a lot to wake up to. And it was the same way there. And like one of the first things I did when I was here in Atlanta, which my wife is an activist, and I'm not an activist, but she really wanted to, this was 4 years ago, they had a big Black Lives Matter march down the streets of Atlanta.
Right.
And I didn't know what to expect. And she was like, come on, you need to do this with me. And I didn't know what to expect. It was one of my favorite things about Atlanta, and I never felt more at home in such a big group of people.
Right.
And you could just kind of, in some ways, feel love. I mean, it was definitely a sobering experience, but you could just feel, and I don't know, I kind of felt bonded to some people there, and I felt the same way there, even though these people were strangers.
But you were part of a community of people in that moment, and that absolutely will make you feel loved.
Yeah, but it was interesting. It was a great experience. I don't know if I would do it all the time. Just I don't know that I need to, but I felt good about being there and kind of being with the people and experiencing that walk across the bridge.
So aside from the walk across the bridge, what other things did they do? Did they have speakers?
Yes, got to see Uncle Joe Biden.
Oh.
Several of the candidates were there, trying to get people to vote for him. And this was before everybody started dropping out. But I was 15 feet from Joe Biden. What surprised me is like no Secret Service at all. And you don't know that. No, you could see there was nobody protecting him. People walked right up to him, shook his hand, slapped him on the back. They treated him like a rock star. He's big smiling. He took selfies with people. He was very accessible.
Interesting.
It was very interesting. But I don't know. I heard that there was a big meeting there with all of the candidates, and I think they probably were like, you all need to drop out and let Joe be the candidate. So that did happen like the next day or two or whatever. No, it was right after Super Tuesday when everybody was just like, uh-oh, I'm doing that good.
Yeah.
So now it's down to 2. But, it was fun seeing Joe. And I realized something about Joe Biden.
What's that?
Everybody makes fun of Trump. Joe Biden has horrible hair.
Yeah.
It does. If he was to get president, we're just going from one bad hair to the other. From the front, his hair looks okay. It's kind of passable. If you see it from the back, it's awful.
Like how? Like does he comb it all the way from his neck up over to his face?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a bald spot back there, and he's trying to cover it in the back. It just doesn't look good.
Oh.
So it's like, Joe, don't turn around.
Don't turn around, Joe.
But I got to see Joe. That was kind of fun, and just watching people react to him, which was interesting. He definitely gets treated like a rock star. So that was fun. That's what I did last week.
Cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. You did hit me up. You hit me up in the morning and you said, I have a minivan with lots of room in it if you want to go for a ride.
Yeah.
And of course, my initial reaction was, do you have candy in that minivan too? But
no, we don't.
But
we did stop at pizza and get pizza on the way back. Yeah.
But that was a long day. It's a long drive.
It was a long drive, like 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I did. That was fun.
Good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, getting out of Atlanta. That's the first time I've been down. I've been through Alabama.
Yeah.
driving places. But I don't know. I've never been to Selma before. And this is going to make me sound dumb, but there are trees down there that are, I call them storybook trees.
Okay.
But I don't know what species of trees they are. The big, big trees with personality. I mean,
that narrows it down.
Even though there was not a leaf on one of them, but they like almost like monsters, just huge, and just twisty and turny and just big. And I think my wife said there was some kind of oak, but and
twisty, turny, big trees with personality.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
I dig it.
You know, the trees in Lord of the Rings, kind of like that. Where you just feel like they're going to come alive and start walking with you.
Okay.
But I love those. They're on every corner. I mean, just the whole city was covered in those trees.
That's cool.
I'd like to know what kind they are. Anyway, that's what I did.
Cool. I didn't do a whole lot, honestly, this past week. I was sick one day.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, a little depressed here and there. But, that's enough about me.
Depressed?
Let's
What?
move on.
Why are you depressed?
Because I'm me. That's just,
That's not cool at all.
No, I mean, if you use one adjective to describe me, what would it be?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I could use several.
It certainly wouldn't be uplifting.
I don't know. I mean, I think you think that I think about you totally different from what I think about you. I don't think of you as being depressed. I think you get depressed, but I don't think think of you as a depressed person.
Okay. I mean, you're probably right, because I'll be honest with you, more often than not, I am not depressed, but I certainly have the susceptibility to depression
yes.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did today come up on the realization of how you and I are alike.
You did?
I did.
Please do enlighten me.
I never thought about this before, and I was out today, and I thought of it, and I was like, that's the secret. That's how you and I are alike.
Because according to your wife, we are alike in 99.9% of ways.
I don't agree with that. But anyway, that's what she says. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
This is how I think we are alike, and you may totally disagree.
Okay.
But to me, I was just like, bingo, that's how we're alike.
Lay it on me.
You and I both don't do anything unless we are completely inspired.
Elaborate, please.
We'll just kind of sit around until we get like this dose of inspiration, and then when we do, we will move. It's like creative or whatever. It's just like something needs to inspire us, and as soon as we get inspired, we will go do something. We will do that. We will move on that thing.
I think you're correct there that we both do that. Yes.
Like we will. Sometimes it's just an idea, but it's just that something will hit us, and we'll be just, you'll see a piece of art, let's say. You'll be out and you'll see a piece of art, and as soon as you see it and you get inspired by that, you want to go do it.
Right.
Immediately you want to go do it.
Right.
Or if you read something that's great writing, you want to go write, or whatever. You taste something, you're like, I want to go start cooking. This is my thing now. It's just like you're okay with just kind of being passive, but the moment you get that inspiration, you move. And I feel like that is, I think we're both like that. I think you're like that, and I think I'm like that.
I'm certainly very passive in my day-to-day life. I would agree with you there. I am very passionate about a lot of things. I'm a passionate person. I'm just not a passionate doer.
But you will if you're inspired. And that's, I guess, what I'm getting at is that you're okay to just kind of let things pass until you click that inspiration, and then you want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what we were talking about photography or art or something like that, where it's just like, if you see a great art show, it's just like you want to do that. I don't know. That's what I think.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I, can't come up with what I think makes us the same.
You don't have to. It's not a duel.
It could be. You don't know.
I do know.
You don't know.
I'm very well.
No, you don't know.
I know.
What else you got? Because you just have a list of all kinds of notes over there. I'm interested.
No, these are just things from this week. I
okay.
like take some notes. I want to talk about Nashville because I used to live in Nashville. Got a lot of friends in Nashville.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, I think it was Tuesday, early morning Tuesday, or late night,
Whichever.
Monday. A pretty big tornado went right through Nashville.
West Nashville?
East Nashville, I think.
East Nashville.
Yeah. Which is where I used to live when I was there.
Really?
And destroyed a lot, and went through neighborhoods and tore up houses.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a big tornado.
Do we know what the death toll is right now?
It was like 25 last that I heard, and I don't know if it's gone up anymore.
Yeah.
Some people are missing still. They're still trying to find some people, but
that's crazy that a tornado hits a big city like that, because the reason a big city can become a big city is because they don't normally have weather events like that. Like, you wouldn't particularly see a city that's been around forever, like Atlanta, have regular weather events like that.
I always feel that that's true, and I have this false sense of security because I always think about
Same.
that. But I have seen,
not now.
No, but I have seen pictures of tornadoes going through downtown Dallas and other big cities.
Yeah.
And then I go, uh-oh. But, there, according to my wife, a big tornado came through here a few years ago through Atlanta. So it can happen.
It can happen
I always
anywhere.
feel like somehow I got some kind of weird protection just living in a big city, which is dumb.
It is dumb. It's totally dumb.
But Nashville, tornado went through Nashville several years ago.
They're calling it an EF4.
Yeah.
That's a big tornado.
And I saw pictures of it. It is big. But I guess what I'm getting at is there are a lot of people who are affected. It tore up houses and everything. So I just kind of want to suggest, if you're looking for a way to help some people, check that out. There's a lot of charities that you can get involved with, whether it's just helping people recover from their house being destroyed.
Right.
People need clothes or whatever.
Right.
But, musicians who lost their musical instruments, I think I read that the Gibson Guitar Company has a program where they will replace instruments that have been destroyed. So I don't know how, but if you have resources where you can help some people just recover from a tornado, look into that, because there's a lot of different ways that people can help. So
animal services are going to need a lot of help too, because there are probably animals that got out and are missing and need to be found, or have been injured. And any charities that might give to emergency vet costs during times of everher events. Those would be great charities to look into. Or people lost everything, clothes, dog food, everything in their house is gone.
Well, it happened like 1 a.m, and I just looked at the path of the tornado, and just like the houses weren't even standing. It was just like a concrete
foundation.
Yeah. And nothing. And so I asked, I was like, how did people survive that? What did they do? Because it's Nashville, and most of the time they're not going to have a storm cellar. They're not going to have a tornado shelter.
Sure.
Where did they go?
Where
at
did
1
they
a.m?
go? Yeah.
How did they survive when their house isn't on the foundation anymore?
It's gone.
And so a couple of my friends who live in Nashville said a lot of people have basements and went into their basement, and a lot of people she had some friends who got in their bathtub and watched their house disappear while they were in the bathtub.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
No.
That's creepy.
That brings tears to my eyes just thinking about it. Oh my God, how scary.
But that's what people had to do, because they didn't get a lot of warning. It just happened really, really quick. And we live in a society now where even when you get a warning, whether it's a hurricane, tornado, people are just like, it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to.
Right.
It happens especially with hurricane warnings. Every year they give a warning and people go, I'm not going to get out. I'm going to ride it out.
And then
then it doesn't hit, and then you just reinforce those people. And then one day
it does hit,
something like Hurricane Katrina, where all those people said, I'm not leaving. And then it hit, and then they were like, I should have left.
Right.
And so,
or even just more recent hurricanes, like down in Florida. I have a friend that lives down there, and he missed his mandatory evacuation time. And by the time they realized, yes, it is actually going to hit, and it's actually going to hit where we live, it was too late. It's more dangerous to leave at that point, because now you're on the road in a car. Would you rather be on the road in a car during a hurricane, or would you rather be in the house, like in a basement or a bathtub? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, I mean,
But at least you get a chance to leave with a tornado.
You don't know.
It's just like, hurry, get somewhere and cover your head.
Yes.
Grab
your animals and hide.
Well, it's like, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, that that documentary that I watched about the fires in California, where the people were leaving, and then the fires turned, and they're driving into the fires, but they can't turn around and go back because now they're in the middle of it.
It's all around them.
And their video, the people are putting this on their phone. They're videoing it on their phone, and you're right in the middle of it, and it's scary as it could be.
Yeah.
And they got a busload of kids trying to take them out. Whew, that's scary.
That's really scary. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the podcast, but the campfires in California, my father's. I won't go that far. I know somebody who lost her eldest child and his wife.
Oh no!
In the fires, they were in their car, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It could be the same people because in the documentary they go back, and there's a car.
Yeah. They
can't find these people, and they go back to where they are, and there's a car right there. And the bodies are in the car, burned. Mm-hmm. They show it.
The
people just sitting there. There was an elderly couple, I believe.
No, this wouldn't be elderly. Anyways, the point is that it does touch you, even if it doesn't touch you personally. Mm-hmm. All of these events, all of these tragedies can touch you. So, and I think anything you can do if you're able to reach out and help is not only so much appreciated by the people that need it, but it also, I think it feeds your soul to help people. Yeah, I really do.
I do too. So check into it if you feel the need to help some people out. There are a lot of organizations now, and really check on the organization because unfortunately people sometimes will use this to
scam.
Yeah, and make sure that it's a legitimate organization. But yeah, check into that if you'd like to help out because these people need your help. I didn't really want to tie this into what we were just talking about, but I'm going to.
Okay.
I was watching, this is so dumb, but I was watching HGTV, I think, and there's a commercial for, what is that show? Restaurant Rescue or something like that.
I have no idea.
You don't watch any of that?
I don't watch television.
Okay, well, there's a show where what's his name, Robert Irvin, something like that, but anyway, he's a chef.
Okay.
He goes in and of course they go into these restaurants that are performing poorly, and then they berate the people, and then they like yell at them and whatever, and then they turn their business around. There's one that somebody does it with a hotel, somebody else does it with a bar, and then this one is a restaurant.
Okay, hold on. Is the host the dude with the gun?
Yes,
serious
big
gun?
arms, yeah.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's like they've tried to find a show for him, and apparently this is it. But Robert Irwin, I think is his name.
Something like that.
But anyway, they were showing the commercial for this show, and then they play this guy, who I guess he was one of the restaurant owners, and he kind of breaks down crying, and he says, "All I needed was some help."
Okay.
And it suddenly hit me about there's a lot of talented people in this world.
Yes.
And there's a lot of go-getters. There's a lot of people who have created huge something from nothing. And it's just like they have that ability to do it. Mm-hmm. And we're all on different levels in our lives. Some people are smarter than others. Some people are more athletic than others. But we all have different levels, and we're all good at different things. But there always seems to be a group of people that just seem to have things go their way all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're born with money. Sometimes they're born with a consciousness for doing things. Mm-hmm. Like if your dad was really good, well, let's just say the Mannings, Peyton Manning, his dad was a quarterback.
Right.
So obviously he's going to teach his kids how to be a quarterback, and hopefully they're good ones.
Right.
But not everybody's that lucky.
No.
And according to this show, this guy who had a restaurant, he says all I needed was some help.
Yeah.
And I just started thinking about how many people in this world could be wildly successful if all they had was a little help.
Little help. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just what if someone, the only thing standing between them and a huge company that's multi-million dollars is they just need someone to make signs for them.
Right.
They need an artist.
Right.
even just one time, advertising their business.
Yeah.
It's just like they didn't know how to do that.
It's like somebody has a fabulous idea, could make millions, but because they're not good at marketing, nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know about it, you're not going to make any money at it.
It's like there's like a little weakness. So it's like some people perfect in almost every way in order to be successful. And then the next level down are people who are really, really good, but then they have a little flaw.
Yeah.
They have something missing that they just need some help.
Yeah.
So maybe they're like great chefs, perfect chefs,
Right.
brilliant chefs. And people say, why don't you start a restaurant? And they go, okay, I'll start a restaurant. I'm a great chef. And then the restaurant fails. Why did it fail? They just needed some help with somebody to do business.
Yeah.
Maybe they needed a great server. Maybe they needed a great serving staff. Who knows? But it's just like there's one little missing piece that stands in between them and just being as successful as anybody else in the business.
Yeah. Yeah. That's common. I think people who are talented, but know nothing about business.
Yeah.
You know, and they try and go out on their own and do these things
Right.
without assistance from somebody that does know business. They are doomed to fail
In some
more often than not.
in some ways, shows like American Idol
Yeah.
or The Voice,
Yeah.
I feel like are kind of reinforce this. Because you have somebody who has fantastic talent. They have everything they need except one thing: exposure. Just the backing of someone to get them in front of a big audience.
Right.
And then you get them there, and then what happens? They have a career that goes on for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Why? Because they have the tools to sustain that. Now, you know there's a lot of people who don't on that show. No matter how famous they get, they disappear. They just didn't have the talent to keep it going. They didn't have the talent to be a superstar. Maybe they have a talent to play, locally or just be a musician in a different capacity. But then there are some people and I'll just say like Carrie Underwood, who has the talent to go forever in her chosen field. And I feel like that's the situation. She's like, what if Carrie Underwood wasn't on this show? Well, maybe her talent would have taken her to where she is now.
Eventually, if she
Could
didn't
be.
give up.
But
Yeah.
some people just need that boost.
Yeah.
It's just like I just needed some help.
And sometimes it's a timing thing, too. Sometimes, like the gentleman in the show that you were watching, when he said, I just needed a little help.
Yeah.
If he hadn't gotten that help for another 10 years, would he still be in business?
Well, that's what I think.
You know?
Sometimes maybe no.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I'm not saying everybody do this, but it just makes me feel like I just want to help people sometimes. When people need the help, they just need a boost.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to help them.
Well, how would you do that?
I don't know. Whatever. It just depends on what they need. Now, if somebody says, I need somebody to come in and work for me for 10 years, I can't do that. But I mean, to get someone started, whether I could do some art or graphic design or something, it kind of makes me feel like I want to do that.
Yeah.
To help out.
Well, that's cool.
I don't know. I don't know why it hit me like that this week, but
You're feeling very generous.
maybe it's just for some reason I just thought about it. I just thought about how it could just be one little maneuver, one little assistance, one little push that someone does to send someone into greatness.
Or send them over a cliff.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather be the person that pushes them and sends them to greatness?
Absolutely.
Help them out.
Absolutely.
You can't take credit for it, but you can just say, I helped that person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it too.
Okay.
Are you going to do anything about it?
What am I going to do?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Well, I guess the thing is just to be alert, and
Look-
when someone asks you, try to help them.
Look for opportunities.
Yeah, or not look.
Or
just,
be open for opportunities.
Yeah, let people know what you're willing to do or that you're willing to help if they need it.
Cool.
That's what I think. I put a little message out about to our readers, to our great fans, our numbers of fans, our
All
millions
those
of fans.
fans.
And I told them we were recording tonight, and I said, what would you like for us to talk about? Because I like to do that.
Yeah.
Give people an opportunity to program the show. We got a message from our friend Patrick. Patrick, I believe, is Dog Crate.
I think so.
Is that correct?
I don't know. We're so bad about
I'm
this.
pretty sure Patrick is Dog Crate. You said let's make a list of of nicknames, and
neither of us had done it yet.
We might have to because we have so many now. I'm starting to forget.
Yep.
Anyway, Patrick says, "How about you talk about things you believed as a child that were way off the mark? For example, when I was little, for some reason, I thought that people who were sleeping breathed faster, not slower. So when I tried to fake being asleep, I was basically panting." That's a very much a kid thing.
It's a very kid thing. So, like when his parents came in to check on him,
they probably knew.
He'd be laying there going,
They probably laughed themselves to death. And like,
not
we know
asleep.
he's faking, right?
Not asleep.
It's like when you're a kid and you take the thermometer and put it on the light bulb, and then stick it back in your mouth real quick, and your parents come in and go, "Oh, you got a fever of 105.
Yeah,
you should be dead right now."
Right?
Yeah. And you don't realize that when you're a kid. You just think, I think
you just think the hotter it is, the more likely you are to get to stay home.
I believe I've talked on the show, because we did have a show very similar to this, where we talked about things we believed when we were a kid that were kind of silly. And I talked about a way, I think, that I believe that I could make human beings.
Did you talk about that?
I'm pretty sure I did. And
tell us what you thought as a child.
I didn't want to go into it again. It's a long story. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I did.
I don't think so.
I think I did. But I want to talk about, we just talked about tornadoes. So when I was a kid, I was scared of tornadoes. I was frightened by tornadoes. Terribly. It was like my biggest fear.
You even had nightmares about tornadoes.
Oh, I still do.
You still do.
So when I was a kid, I would, when there was like a tornado warning or what's the other one?
Watch.
Mm-hmm. I would stand at the window and look out and wait and see if I could see a tornado. This would be like black outside, just
because you're not going to see anything.
But my little kid mind, it would be coming down the street, coming down the road, kind of like the Road Runner, I guess. So this little tornado coming down.
It would follow the road.
I guess, yeah. That's it. But I would look for it. But I thought all tornadoes looked pretty much like the tornado in Wizard of Oz,
right?
So very cone shaped.
Yes.
The typical, and then coming down into a sharp little point on the end. So that's what I always looked for, and I didn't realize sometimes tornadoes are, yards
miles
and yards
across.
wide.
Yeah.
And they're huge.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't have as much of a defined shape.
No, they could just be very round and cylindrical.
Yeah.
They could have, like you said, not much shape at all. I saw a video of, I'll go back to the Nashville thing. I did see a video on Wednesday morning of the tornado going through Nashville from a camera that was mounted on the top of one of the buildings downtown. For weather events. You could watch this camera, right? So they filmed this thing going through the city, and it's very dark. Obviously, it's the middle of the night, and you really cannot see a definition of a shape, but you can see destruction happening.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's frightening. It's frightening to see when you're expecting one thing, like you said, the cartoon tornado, and you see something that you can't tell what it is.
Yeah, I don't think I would recognize it as a child. But see, they say that the tornado, a lot of people say it sounds just like a freight train.
Yep.
They always say that. So I lived right next to a railroad track.
Oh, no.
When I was growing up.
Oh, no.
So every time a train would come, I would think, is that a tornado?
Oh.
And then it occurred to me that a tornado would not blow the horn.
No.
And so I would be like, okay, that's not a tornado.
As soon as you heard the horn, you'd be fine.
But I used to, because I hated wind. The wind, the strong wind. And my bed was right under a window. And the wind would blow really hard, and the screen would just beat up against the window.
Yeah.
All night long. And it just scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. And I just thought, what's going on out there? There's some kind of a tornado, or it's just like when
There's
kids.
a tornado trying to get in my room.
When you see the movies where the kids are frightened because the shutters are slamming up, and that's what it was. It was exactly like that. And so I had this thing where I would sing myself to sleep. So I would hear that, and in my head I would try to block off the sound, and I would sing songs in my head to hope I would eventually fall asleep.
Can you sing one for us now?
No, I don't know what I sang at that age. But every once in a while, a train would come by. And when I knew it was a train and not a tornado, that was like a blessing, because I was like, okay, I have this window of time that I could fall asleep because I can't hear the wind. So I would hope that I would fall asleep during the time the train was coming by.
Wow.
And usually, a lot of times it worked.
So
that's what I believed when I was a kid.
That's funny. I can't really think of anything I believed as a child that was silly like that. Like, my parents taught me the way that my body works and the way that, machines worked and things like that at a very, very young age. So they were very frank with both of us about...
Did they teach you how franks work?
No. No. They did not teach us about emulsified meat products.
Well, I won't.
But... I know. But... so I never really had any misconceptions that I can recall at this time. But I will tell you that, listening to your story about storms, so the other night I'm laying in bed and a thunderstorm came through and parked itself on top of my house for like 2 hours in the middle of the night. I set a sound machine next to my bed and I like to play, thunderstorm sounds on it. Heavy rain, distant thunder. I even throw a train in there for good measure, right? With the distant horn. And it's so easy to fall asleep to. I love it. So I wake up to this sound that sounds like a airplane right over my bed, basically. And I'm like, what? Why is it so low? Because it's happened before. We've had low-flying planes over my house before. And then there's another one right after it. I'm like, that's weird. Why would they be flying so close together? Mind you, I'm just waking up. And so I open my eyes, and as soon as I do, I'm facing the window. As soon as I do, bam, lightning. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not a plane. That's thunder. And it didn't move. It stayed above my house for like 2 hours. And I'm laying there, and I'm thinking, I would really like to go back to sleep now because I have to get up in like 3 hours. And then my anxiety kicks in because my anxiety is I have a very short anxiety fuse right now, going through some stuff. And so my anxiety kicks in, and all I can think of is, okay, I have this tree that hangs over my house.
Uh-oh.
What's going to happen? What if it gets hit by lightning and falls on me? I'm going to die. What's going to happen to my animals? Are they going to get out? Are they going to be safe? Are they going to get hurt? I mean, these are and 2 hours laid there, listened to this torrential rain, this thunderstorm, some wind, all of this. And, my anxiety was just insane. So I still have a problem with storms, even though I love the sound of a thunderstorm, or else I wouldn't want to fall asleep to one. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
When it's real, though, it's a little bit different.
It doesn't bother me as much anymore as I've grown up. I mean, I guess, I don't know. If I heard there was a tornado coming. Now, if a night tornado is still scary to me, but during the day, I would want to go see it. That would be kind of fun. I've actually thought about going on like tornado chaser adventures. I've heard that people hate that because you just basically get in the way of emergency
just in the way.
people.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it, to go out and just see a tornado like in real life.
Yeah.
That would be kind of thrilling, I think.
It would be exhilarating for sure. I am lucky. I will just make a quick point. I am lucky that my dog doesn't give a crap about thunderstorms. She's like, oh, what's that? Oh, whatever. I'm going back to sleep. I mean, she doesn't care.
One of my dogs is sort of like that. The other one, not so much. We need to start closing down the podcast. I do have something I want to mention.
All right, mention it.
Kind of a personal thing, but still not. I got a good friend who is an author, and just her new book just came out this week. And the day it came out, it got reviewed by the New York Times, and they gave it a glowing review, and she was pretty pleased with that. And then today, the book was tweeted by Hillary Clinton. So, and Hillary's got millions of followers. So
really,
so basically, what the book is, my friend.
You can put her name out there if you're going to put the name of the book out there.
Yeah, Adrian Martini. So if you want to find the book is called Somebody's Gotta Do It. Why Cursing at the News Won't Save the Nation, but Your Name on a Local Ballot Can. And that's what she did. A few years ago, she recognized, I want to do something about things. So she ran for her local city council, and she got it. She won.
Wow.
And so it's basically her adventures of doing that. I think last year she ran again and won again. So it's kind of, she's funny, and so it's a humorous book, but it's a full of a lot of information as well. So I think it's political, but it's not I think it's very little national politics. It's all about
Local community.
local and what they do and how they communicate and what they focus on and all that kind of stuff. So you might check it out. Adrienne Martini is her name, and check out the book. She's written some other books too, but this is her new one.
I bet you, and I'm just guessing here, but I bet you there is an occasion that she still swears at the TV.
Probably.
Now, you have a couple of people that you know that are in office, local community politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just people getting involved, and you got to do it. My wife kind of would like to do that. I've thought about it. I don't. This is awful. I don't like people enough to do it.
No.
Because it's just like, years ago I wanted to be a minister, and then I saw what ministers have to do, and then you got to listen. It's not just.
You have to listen to people.
You do. Like I witnessed ministers, like little old ladies in the church who don't have friends. They will call you late at night and chat for 2 hours, and you got to listen to them.
You have to.
And you half the time is holding the phone out. It's like, oh my God. But you have to be their friend. And you go and visit people in hospitals.
Yep.
You go and visit people at funerals.
Yep.
You have to get involved with people. And I don't like interacting with people that much.
Right.
I don't mean that to sound hateful, but
No,
it's just
it's not.
but it requires a special kind of person.
It really does.
So it's the same way with politics. Is you got to listen to people complain a lot.
A lot.
You have to go, and that's what I was saying about Joe Biden. It's like you watch how he interacts with people. I would be like, leave me alone. You're bothering me.
Yeah.
That's probably Bernie. I don't know. But Biden just loved being around all these people, and that's what makes a great politician.
Yeah, I mean, they call it,
got to be people who do that.
glad handing. You're out there, you're shaking hands and kissing babies
Yeah.
and smiling at everybody and listening and being concerned. And yeah, I don't have the patience for that.
No,
personally.
I can't do it. But I've thought about it, and my wife would be good at it. She's thought about it, but man, she doesn't need more things to do. Anyway, check out my friend's book, Adrienne Martini. Somebody's got to do it. You can get it on Amazon. I know you can. And it's worth it. So just want to share that. All right. Anything you want to talk about before we wrap up our podcast?
Yes, there is
What you want to
something
talk
I would
about?
like to talk about. What do you call
Oh, my God.
an escaped owl?
An escaped owl?
Yes.
A gone bird. I don't know.
Houdini.
Who cares? That's my answer. Who cares?
Oh, here.
That's painful.
Why did the stadium get hot after the game?
The stadium?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All the fans left. This is good material.
To who?
To me.
That sucks.
You have
Anyway.
no idea.
All right.
Why do bananas wear sunscreen?
Because it's appealing.
To stop them from peeling.
See, anytime you're doing a banana joke, it always has the word peel in it. Almost always. Or
Almost
sometimes slip.
Yeah.
But it's almost always a peel.
Yeah.
All right. We've come to the end of another podcast. And guess what? You hung out with us the whole time. I wish we could pay you.
I would pay
I
them.
wish we could give you something.
Sure.
What we can give you is stickers. If you'd like some stickers, just send something to thisepicdisaster@gmail.com and say, I want some stickers.
I want a sticker.
And we'll send you stickers. Free. You don't have to pay for them.
Nope.
We just give them to you.
You don't even have to send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
No, but we do need to know your address so we can send it to you.
Right.
But that's the only reason we need to know your address. But come hang out with us on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. You can listen to the shows on YouTube. We did a video on YouTube a couple weeks ago. That's still there.
With horrible, horrible angles.
But we'll be doing some more of those, I'm pretty sure. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll have better angles. I don't know. We were going to have a guest this week. We had to reschedule, but we're working on some other guests for this year, and we might do some smaller little videos and put them up. I think that'll be kind of fun.
Sure.
But Facebook is sort of our home base. That's where we sort of interact with people more on Facebook.
We also have a group of fans, if you will.
Yes.
Some of them.
Uh-huh.
It's a Facebook group called the Disaster Baiters.
And you can be a disaster baiter. All you got to do is go to Facebook and find the groups and go to disaster baiter.
You
and
can be a disaster
You can be
baiter,
our. You can be one of our fans. So one of the things that we do on the show is we talk about a beer. We have a beer, and now it's the time to discuss it. What do you think of this beer? The beer we're drinking is Choosers of the Slain.
Choosers of the Slain.
Yes.
It's a Pilsner
Yes.
by Orpheus Brewing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, one thing I didn't look at. It's only 4.8% alcohol.
That's correct. It's not a big alcohol
It's
beer.
not a heavy alcohol beer. I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
I mean, it's a nice little Pilsner.
Okay, nice little Pilsner.
Yeah. I like a Pilsner, especially if I'm eating.
Yep.
It goes well with a lot of different kinds of food. This is definitely, for me, this would definitely be a pizza beer.
Okay, it is. It's kind of a food beer. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You want to give it a number?
yeah, between our rating of 1 and 5,
Mm-hmm.
I would give this 3.5.
3.5. Well,
Sure.
I'm giving it a 4.
Oh, okay. You liked it more than that.
I did like it. I would have this beer again. I'm going to have it again. It's a nice, clean beer. It's got a good taste. I was so afraid. I don't know. We've had so many IPAs. I thought it was going to be bitter. I thought it was going to be grapefruity. It's not. It's nice. It's kind of smooth. It's got a good taste. Like you said, it'd be great with food.
You spit in my eye.
I'm sorry. We need to have like like on salad bars, they have those spit guards,
It's
whatever.
called a sneeze shield.
Sneeze thing. We need those here. We need because we do sneeze sometimes on the show, and definitely coughing. But anyway, I'm giving it a 4. You're giving it a 3.5. We both liked it.
I didn't think you would care for it because of the lack of carbonation.
It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
interesting. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I tend to like Pilsners, so this one worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a nice flavor. Mm-hmm. So almost finished it, and you just finished it, and
did.
so we did pretty good.
We did good.
All right, should we close down? Should
Let's
we say
do
goodbye?
that. Yeah.
We got cheese to eat. My wife has a cheese plate downstairs, and it's all cheese I won't eat. I call it sewer cheese.
It's not sewer cheese. It's
Is it
yummy
not?
cheese.
There was some blue cheese, but then
So
there's
the
like
blue
some-
cheese is very strong.
Yeah, and then there's some
Very
sheep
strong.
cheese.
The other cheese is a manchego. It's a sheep manchego.
I don't know what that means.
You'll like it. It's got a sharp flavor to it.
Because I can't have goat. I can't have goat cheese.
No, this is not
I
goat
can't have
cheese.
anything goat.
No, it's not
I
goat.
can't have goat cheese.
Too much
I will
goat
vomit
is a bit much
immediately.
for me. Yeah, I don't like a whole lot of goat in my cheese.
If I ever drink poison, and you call poison control, they'll say, give him some goat cheese, because I'll immediately throw up.
Okay. Or Ipecac. I mean, whichever.
Goat cheese is
Goat
probably
cheese?
easier, maybe.
Okay.
And I'll throw up for sure with goat cheese.
I'll just throw goat cheese in your mouth.
Yeah,
Okay.
do that. Give goat cheese.
Emergency goat cheese.
Yes, please.
Okay.
But the other one, I'm okay with blue cheese.
Try it.
But I like blue cheese more in food.
It's very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you have a blue cheese smoothie?
Maybe?
It could be good.
Like blue cheese and cranberry.
See, I don't like mixing the sweets. And my wife has like a fig jam down there, and she was like,
Yeah.
"Put that with the cheese." I'm like, "No, I don't want to put sweet stuff on the cheese." Why
I
would
like
you wanna do
I
that?
like sweet with cheese because
no,
Shut up.
no.
Let's go.
That's nasty.
Get off the microphone.
Give me a good cheddar.
All right.
All right, people. We'll see you next week on this same
Bat
place
channel.
next Monday.
Bye.
All right, bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.